When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Hi, I'm John Mallos, and welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Monday morning. It's on the air, off the presses with our friend Dennis Hart. We'll be talking about all sorts of things, mainly about some presidents, the great ones and not so great ones who served the great country of our United States of America. 436, MeTV option 11. Remember, turn down the sound if you call in. We're back in a moment. And we're back here on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Monday morning. It's on the air, off the presses, talking to our buddy Dennis Hart about the presidents, the good ones, the bad ones, and the indifferent ones here in this country. Of course, right now we'll talk about the current one that's in the Oval Office. But before we get to that, congratulations to the Fresno State Bulldogs for winning 24-17 on Saturday, beating Utah State at home. And now they'll advance to a bowl game in Las Vegas against the USC Trojans. In a couple of weeks, we'll see what the Bulldogs do there. Remember now, Fresno State only has one loss throughout the entire season, a great record. Also announced just a couple of hours ago, actually about 9 o'clock our time in the morning, 3 former managers elected to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Let's put their pictures up right now. One of them is Bobby Cox. He is a Selma guy, grew up in Selma, graduated from Selma High School, manager of the Atlanta Braves. He won 2,504 games as manager. My goodness, he was manager of the year 4 times, 15 division titles with the Atlanta Braves, 1995 World Series championship, of course, with the Braves. Cox retired, though, in 2010. But just think of this. Cox is a local guy out of Selma. He's on his way to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, an amazing accomplishment. We all know about Tony La Russa, of course, former manager of the Oakland A's and St. Louis Cardinals, took both teams to the World Series and won. Joe Torre, 4 World Championships as manager of the New York Yankees. He's a former catcher, by the way, for the St. Louis Cardinals. That was a long time ago. In fact, I have a Major League Baseball card of Joe Torre as catcher of the Cardinals way back in the 60s, a long time ago. So congratulations. That announced this morning, those 3 elected to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, and deservedly so. Now, we're going to be talking to Dennis Hart, of course, about the presidents, the one who is currently in office. Live in our studio right now is Dennis Hart, our guy, on the air, off the presses, our media expert. But our focus today, I think, is going to be on not only the current president that's in the Oval Office, but past presidents like Washington, Lincoln, Roosevelt, both of them. And we're going to be talking about Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Carter, Reagan, all the rest. How do they measure up to the greatest ones, and the greatest one of all, George Washington, the man who started our country? 436, MeTV option 11 is the number. Remember, turn down the sound. We're back with Dennis Hart in our program in just a moment.
Remember me?
After practicing law, Raymond Berg fought crime.
You have the right to an attorney.
As a hard-boiled detective on wheels,
Ain't it the truth?
his name is Ironside.
Perhaps you wouldn't mind saying it again.
His name is Ironside.
All right, now you've said it.
Nothing slows him down.
I want to see this one firsthand.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Back here on the showroom floor with Dennis Hart, of course. And Dennis, good to see you.
Good to be
How are
back,
you?
my friend.
Hey,
Good to
happy
see you.
holidays.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much, and same to you and your family.
Absolutely.
So we've got the 3 guys inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Talk about that just for a minute.
Yep. Well, I
Go
mean,
on.
you've got Joe Torre, who's just legendary. Tony La Russa, of course, the great Oakland A's manager and St. Louis Cardinals
Love
manager.
La Russa.
Torre, a magnificent manager during the course of his career, of course.
And
Bobby
Cox.
Cox, the Selma kid. Okay,
know.
great manager of the Atlanta Braves. Hard to disagree with those elections. Those are three of the greatest managers. You want a top 5 list of presidents today? Those are probably in the top 6 or 7 of managers in the history of this
Here's
game.
the thing about Bobby Cox, if I recall correctly, hired by Ted Turner. I don't recall the years. I'd have to look it up. But after 4 years with the Atlanta Braves, fired by Ted Turner. Then went up to Toronto, then rehired by Ted Turner. Almost like a Billy Martin Steinbrenner type thing.
Yeah.
And then he won the World Series in '95, spent 15 years. And like you said, Selma High graduate.
Yeah, these were managers who actually changed the game. There were very few
Yeah.
managers who changed the game of baseball. They were so smart. They knew in terms of how to make the plays, how to make the changes on the field. They were students of the game. They truly changed it. And they're remarkable men, and congratulations to all of them. That's really great. First ballot, they should have been in.
Oh,
Should have
yeah,
been
there's
in.
no question about it. And, you know, I mean, baseball is a game of strategy. It's like a chess game.
Yes.
And really,
Yes.
the manager is in control of making those moves. And that's why some teams win, because they have brilliant managers, because they make the right moves at the right time, Dennis. And we've seen that over and over again.
No, well, look what happened with the Boston Red Sox this year. They get a new manager, John Farrell. They were a mess last year, an absolute mess. He turns things around because he changes the culture in the locker room, okay?
Right.
That makes a true difference. And La Russa was one of those difference makers. A lot of managers are just there. You don't even know who their names are. They're interchangeable. These guys rose above that. They are truly brilliant individuals. Could have been successful in anything. They happen to be successful in baseball.
Yeah, just one more thing. I think it's kind of remarkable before we move on. It is rather amazing that Bobby Cox, you know, when it hits home, a local guy from Selma, graduated from Selma High School, grew up in Selma, and he's in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Amazing.
I'm not sure he's really ever gotten all the publicity around here that he should have. Again, a Selma kid. This is a small town.
I
okay?
know. It's
a great town, okay?
A great town, but very small.
One of the greatest managers in the history of this game came right out of there. And I'm not sure we
amazing.
appreciate that. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Congratulations
I
to
mean-
Selma. Congratulations to Bobby Cox.
Yeah. You ever
Great
been to
town, great
Cooperstown,
people. Yeah.
by the way?
Yeah, it's
I have.
wonderful.
Yeah, I went there once.
It's a shrine. If you're a
It
baseball
really
fan,
is.
as I am and you are, it's a shrine. You almost
Yeah.
weep when you're in there because you're surrounded by greatness.
Well, I did weep.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the names that are in there, Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, those are the icons of the game. Never been any greater players than that. It's incredible to be there.
Well, I you know, walking through and watching, looking at the Babe Ruth shrine, of course, that's when I got tears. I mean, it's
Yes.
amazing to see all that stuff. The
Yes.
uniforms, the bats that he used.
Yes.
Just incredible, incredible. And as you know, baseball started in this country at the time the Civil War was going on.
Yes.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. And Ruth, realize we're not talking about baseball to the exclusion of everything else today, but when you talk about a Babe Ruth, he rose so far above everybody else who's ever played the game. Not only was he the greatest hitter of all time, as you know,
Pitcher.
he would have been one of the greatest pitchers, but they needed him in the lineup every day because he hit so many home runs. For decades, he held the World Series record for the most consecutive scoreless innings as a pitcher. He was a great pitcher. In the dead ball era, he hit 714 home runs. That's incredible. Nobody had ever done that.
I know. I'm laughing because I can visualizing him rounding the bases.
Lifetime batting average in the 340s, third or fourth highest lifetime
know.
batting average, a great fielder, a great pitcher, and as you know, his training regimen was beer and hot dogs in the dead ball era. It's incredible how good he was.
All right.
Amazing.
Speaking of beer and hot dogs, shall we talk about our presidents?
Oh,
No,
I thought
just
you were
kidding.
offering me something for lunch. Yeah, let's talk president.
Okay, you were here last time on November 22nd,
Yeah.
the 50th anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
No question about horrible thing for our country.
Yes.
In your opinion, we've never recovered from
that's
right?
Correct. That is correct. I think we lost almost everything in terms of energy, enthusiasm. We've never recovered from his assassination.
Let's put up a picture of our current president, President Barack Obama, of course. He took off for Johannesburg, South Africa, of course, to attend the funeral services for Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
What can you say about Barack? How do you compare him to the rest, and what kind of a job he's done the last, he's been in office 5 years
50
now?
years, yeah. Well, too early because he's still
5.5
president.
years.
You cannot judge a president historically until after he's left office for a number of years. He's in the
But
middle.
so
of it.
far,
He's
the
in the
great
middle.
is what?
Well, I mean, he's middling at this point. His signature accomplishment is maybe Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act, is a major accomplishment for him. Okay, that's a major change.
But some on the other side will say it's a major failure.
Well, yeah, but that's what they always say. The opposition always says something like that. But that's an accomplishment, okay? But it's
Why
too early
is it
to
an
tell.
accomplishment? Why?
Because it changes our healthcare system in the United States. It's a seminal change. It affects 1/4, 1/5 of our economy. It's going to affect millions of people. Anything that does that is a major change. Now, too early to tell where he ranks on the list. He's certainly not in the top. He said, we'll give him another 3 or 4
His
years.
approval ratings are in the 30s, I believe.
It doesn't matter.
37%
It doesn't
or
matter what
something like
approval.
that.
It's not a popularity contest when you rate presidents. It's not about who liked them. It's about what their accomplishments are. So let's give him a few years. I mean, it's way too. You never judge a president on what he's doing at the moment. Historians look at it years down the road. So too early.
Go to the beginning.
Yep.
George Washington.
In my
Okay.
opinion, the greatest president we've ever had. Many people would say Lincoln, and I rank Lincoln second. But Washington, by far, I think, the most important president because he was the first. He had no template. Everything he did for the first time. Nobody'd ever done it before. Think about how great this man was. Probably the greatest single American who ever lived. Led us in the Revolutionary War. Chaired the Constitutional Convention. Our first president. He established what a president should be, the standards for a president, established the cabinet system. He was a member of no party, the only president ever elected twice unanimously by electors, beloved. When he died, after a few years after his term of office ended, in 1799 he died, the country went into shock because he was clearly the most beloved man in the history of the country at that point.
All right. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Caller, what's your question?
Well, you were talking about the president, what his ratings are right now.
Yeah.
And among the Hispanics or people of that Mexican people, he's gone down quite a bit because of the promises of immigration reform. He made a lot of promises at the beginning when he first campaigned in 2008. He went on Spanish radio promising that during his first 100 days of his administration, for sure there would be an immigration reform introduced.
Sure, but you're talking about a popularity poll. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about the effectiveness of presidents, and every presidential candidate makes promises.
Oh yeah.
All I'm saying is it's too early right now. He's in the middle of his presidency. He's barely completed 60% of his presidency. It's far too early to determine where he ranks in terms of great presidents. We don't know that yet because he hasn't finished his term of office yet.
Yeah, but don't I see him. Sometimes he sounds tired. Like maybe it's just too much for him. I don't know. The presidency. He's a very young man. What do you think?
Every
It can wear on you.
Oh, it wears down every president. You look at virtually every president.
It can
when
wear on you.
When they start in office, and 4 years later they're grayed, their faces are drawn. It's the most pressured job in the world. Sure, it wears down every man. Absolutely.
I've had a lot of gray hairs from and too bad that he is doing in some ways a good job, but yet he's still lacking in a lot of
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we appreciate your call. We got to go. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the info. I'll tell you one thing that's going to figure into his legacy is the healthcare thing.
Sure.
Saying you can keep your doctor, you can keep your insurance, and then all of a sudden you got cancellation.
Yeah,
notice. And also the Syria thing. A lot of people feel he backed down after those threats.
But see, you're talking right now
Specifics,
while it's
I know.
still going on. We
I
don't
know.
know what the outcome of the Affordable Care Act is. It hasn't even gone into effect yet. It's going to go into effect next year. We don't know what the Syria outcome is. Let's wait a few years and find out, and then we can judge him more specifically.
All right, another call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. That person that you have talking there, he says that the president's only been in 60% of the time. What about the other 4 years before when he was in office?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. He's just been reelected. He has an 8-year term. He's completing his 5th year. 5/8 is 60%.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just saying that he's taking this country down the drain as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's your opinion, yes.
Thank you.
Well, I
Thank you.
appreciate the phone call.
Again,
and see, everybody has an opinion about him,
but
whether
see,
it's good or bad.
What we're not talking about, and I want to clarify this for everybody. I'm not talking popularity polls. We're talking about the list of the greatest presidents in the history of the country. It has nothing to do with internet popularity or whether you think Rush Limbaugh likes the president. Nothing to do with that. We're talking about effectiveness of a presidency.
Right. Okay, talking to Dennis Hart. We'll talk about the other presidents, some of the other ones that have made an impact on this country, of course, from the beginning. 436 MeTV, option 11, weigh in. If you want to weigh in with your thoughts about President Obama, what kind of job he's doing, or about any of our past presidents. We're back with our show in just a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start, but you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
You know what? This is why we live in such a great country. The greatest country, of course, in the world is because your opinion counts no matter what it is. We don't have to agree with your opinion. You don't have to agree with our opinion. You don't have to agree with anything that we do here, but it's your right as an American citizen to weigh in on whatever you think. We talked about Washington. We talked about Obama. George Washington, in your opinion, the greatest. Where would you rank Abraham Lincoln?
Right
of
up
course,
there. Second,
right in there in the Civil War.
Right up there, second greatest president because he simply saved the country. Washington created the country. Lincoln saved it. Abolished slavery. He presided over this country and led it through the greatest moral crisis, the greatest constitutional crisis it had ever had. Without a shadow of a doubt, Abraham Lincoln is right up there. A lot of historians rate him above Washington. I don't argue with that. In my opinion, they were neck and neck, Lincoln and Washington.
How long does it take, in your opinion, to form a legacy? How long do you have to be out of office, in your opinion?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what happens while you're in office. Most presidents establish their greatness under crisis. For example, my list for the third greatest president is Franklin Roosevelt. Roosevelt presided, of course, he got us through the Great Depression and the World War, Second World War.
All right.
He literally
Franklin
saved
Roosevelt,
the
right.
country during that period of time. Established Social Security, got us through the war, established a variety of programs that helped get us out of that Great Depression. It was circumstances that put him in that position. He didn't ask for the Depression. He didn't ask for the war. He got it. So he rose to the occasion.
What about Teddy Roosevelt?
Fourth greatest, I think, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, for me. Progressive Republican president, a man who established the conservation ethic in this country. You want to talk about conservation? The U.S. Forest Service, established under his watch. The man, he called it the square deal. He was a trust buster. He regulated business. A fantastic activist Republican president.
All right. Thomas Jefferson. We
Yeah.
don't have a picture of him, but you want to talk about Thomas Jefferson. I know you read, let's see, Bill O'Reilly wrote the book on Thomas Jefferson, I believe.
No,
Did you read? No, it was he wrote Jefferson, didn't he?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
didn't?
O'Reilly did. Jefferson has a number of great biographers.
Okay.
But yeah, he was right up there, I think, in the top 5.
Let's take a call here and we can pick up on that Jefferson point. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Connect with me. What's your question?
Yes, it seems like there is a concerted effort here to attack Obama administration, and I don't think that's really appropriate. And I think there's something called the House of Representatives and their GOP that's really sort of shutting everything down. I think that's what the focus should be instead of personal attacks on Obama. And then for your information, for immigration control, it depends on the House to pass immigration law. It's not Obama's fault. It's being held in the House. So those prior callers that blame Obama for that, I think they need to learn how the government works.
Well, let me ask you can I ask you a question, caller? I guess I can't.
Well, she certainly
sounded ticked off.
Yeah, I don't think you've heard us say, you haven't heard me attack President Obama.
Right.
I have said that he's still the president. It's far too early to establish whether
Right.
he is
But
indeed
here,
on the list of great
this
presidents.
is what I've noticed, Dennis, since Reagan was in office, and this is the fact of the matter is neither side is willing to compromise.
No.
Whether you're a Democrat
That's right.
or a
That's right.
Republican. Let's take another call here. Caller, you're on the air. Connect with me. What's your question?
Yes, it's nice talking about that, but how about talking about Fresno politicians? What kind of job they're doing, if you agree with them or not agree with them?
Well, that's kind of a wide question. Politicians, there are many. Board of Supervisors, City Council, the mayor. What are we talking about?
Basically, in general, all the politicians that have a say-so on the function of City of Fresno.
It would take 2 hours to do a
sure.
show on that.
Sure. I mean, I think the elected officials...
One at a time, let's start from the mayor and then go to the City Council.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
let's start from the city mayor, then go to the city council.
Well, I've covered the mayor and the city council for years, okay, when I was a reporter at KMJ Radio. In general terms, and this is a discussion that could go on, as you know, for hours, as you just said.
Oh, my God. We don't have that kind of time.
They are of differing abilities. I think the mayor is an outstanding person intellectually. I think she's doing the best job she possibly can for the city of Fresno. I think the council is composed of different people with different intellectual and different political abilities, etc. It's a mixed match. But in general terms, I think this particular city council, they're probably doing as good a job as they can be expected to do, given that there's no money in the city, that the city's had terrific economic difficulties. Yeah, I think they're doing, in general, okay.
What about Fulton Mall? Making it open up for traffic.
How did we get to the Fulton Mall from the
I don't know.
Let me say this. It's a great question, and we could do a whole show on it. The Fulton Mall has clearly failed. Clearly downtown is in trouble. Something needs to be done. You may disagree with what the mayor wants to do, which is open it up, but no one disagrees that it's a failure, so something has to happen. She's trying to make something happen.
Right.
Well, that'd be good. More smoke in the city. That'd be great.
I appreciate your phone call. Thank you. All right, let's get back to the point is it's more contentious now.
Yes.
No one agrees. No one's willing to compromise.
That's right.
Would you agree with that?
We are the most polarized we've been since the Civil War. There's absolutely no political discourse. The other side hates the other side. Republicans hate Democrats. Democrats hate Republicans. It's
and
bad
no
for the
willingness
country.
to compromise.
None. Compromise is a dirty word in politics right now. Politics is being operated almost as a talk radio show. You know, talk radio hosts have no responsibility for governing. All they do is get out there and make their dumb, stupid, blowtorch opinions right or left wing. Okay, I'll be absolutely fair
like
here.
We do here. No.
But see, when a Limbaugh, when a Hannity, when a Rachel Maddow, let's get to the other side as well, says something, they have no responsibility for what they've said. They can just blowtorch anybody because who cares? They're not.
Or Martin Bashir. Look what he said on MSNBC.
Which was outrageous. Okay.
Right. I think he resigned, didn't he?
Yes, he's resigned.
He's
resigned. He resigned under pressure. Or an Alec Baldwin who says something stupid
another
on
one.
MSNBC.
Another one.
They're just talk show host people. Talk show hosts, again, have no responsibility. They're paid to have dumb opinions. Okay.
All right. Another call here on Connect with Me. Good morning. What's your question? Gone? Okay, caller was gone. We're going to take a break here with Dennis Hart talking. Very lively discussion here on Connect with Me. Whether you like it or not, you're free to weigh in because we live in the greatest country on the face of the earth. 436 MeTV option 11. Back in a moment.
1 Adam 12.
This is Adam 12. It stars Martin Milner as Officer Pete Malloy, Kent McCord as Officer Jim Reed.
1 Adam 12, roger.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Back here with Dennis Hart. You remember the movie back in the 70s called Network?
Yes,
right?
of course.
Okay. I'm mad as hell.
Mad as hell. Not going to take
it anymore. We did a show about that because we had a
Really?
psychiatrist in here last week talking about, are we at that point we're just not going to take it anymore, and what can we do?
No, I think what's happened in this country, you want to talk about polarization, talk radio and cable TV have fomented this period of hatred between political parties and between people. It's no longer...
Talk radio's created this?
Oh, yeah.
Haven't the politicians themselves created this?
They're governing like they're a talk radio host, though. There is no compromise. The essence of government over 250 years in this country has been compromised. Nobody gets everything.
Why does the media always get blamed? Why don't we blame the politicians?
Well, because they're simply feeding off us, okay? Every night they tune in, there's this window in Washington, D.C. They're all tuned to Fox News or MSNBC, which represents, now let's be real, Fox News gets 2 million viewers a day. There's 330 million people in this country. Fox has 2 million of them.
Right.
MSNBC has 500,000 of them. In other words,
CNN's
nobody,
got
a million.
than that.
Yeah, nobody watches, and yet they have this inordinate influence, which is outrageous to me. It's just ridiculous. Nobody watches them.
Before we run out of time, we do have a caller. Okay, good morning. You're on Connect with Me. What's your question, caller? Hello. Turn down the sound. Hello? You got the sound on. Turn down the sound.
Hello?
Turn down the sound. Okay, good morning. You're on Connect with Me. What's your question? Okay. We got to go. If you call in, you've got to turn down that sound or else we cannot hear you. 436 MeTV option 11. Do not call in and have the sound up on your TV because you won't get on the air. But we appreciate your phone call. We're talking about Thomas Jefferson. I want to get to the rest of them because the point is, okay, Thomas Jefferson, in your opinion, where does he rank?
Top 5. Okay, he literally doubled the size of this country with the Louisiana Purchase. He was probably the smartest man ever to be president. He, among other things, wrote the Declaration of Independence, founded the University of Virginia, designed Monticello, his house. He was a brilliant man.
Why don't we have presidents like that anymore? Why?
Because they are not mediagenic and cannot get through the superfluous reasons that we elect presidents. Oh, he looked good on television. Oh, gosh, Jefferson didn't look good on television. Washington didn't look good. They were simply presidents.
Okay, I want to put up a picture of John Kennedy. Last time you were here, we talked about the assassination, 50 years, of course, in coming. And you mentioned, at least to me, I don't know if it was on or off the air, since then, we've had one decent president.
We've had a series of failed presidencies,
since
virtually all of them
JFK.
since JFK. The only one who succeeded was Ronald Reagan, who was probably the strongest president of my lifetime.
All right. Here, okay, that's Reagan right there. But, you know, I want to go back to JFK because this is what I want to do. I know our viewers do this or know this. JFK, then it was Lyndon Johnson.
Right.
Okay. He followed Kennedy.
Failed presidency because of Vietnam. Run out of office, didn't run for another term, a failed presidency.
All right. He was followed by Nixon in 1968.
Nixon, this weird combination of potential greatness and failure. Watergate brought him down, yet he was brilliant in foreign policy. He was brilliant in many ways domestically, but a failed president.
I'm not sure what Gerald Ford did in the 2 years he was in office. What did he do?
He was in and out. A failed presidency, lost to Jimmy Carter, who was a failed president because of Iran, because of the Iran hostage crisis.
And of course, who followed Jimmy Carter was Ronald Reagan. Why was he such a great president?
Because he gave the essence on television of being the ultimate leader. When he spoke, people understood he meant what he said. You followed him as a leader, whether you agreed or not. He had that presence on the air. Roosevelt had that in the radio days with his fireside chats. Reagan had that on television. I think, especially in his first term, the most effective president of my lifetime.
But back to my point, when Reagan was in office, he was willing to compromise with Tip O'Neill, Speaker of the House.
They would go out and have drinks after hours, okay? They were friends. Yes, you could disagree publicly, but there was no hatred. When the president was shot by John Hinckley, O'Neill was one of the first people to go to the hospital room and prayed beside the president.
You do not see that very much now.
That is
correct. You don't see Obama and John Boehner out having breakfast.
Because they aren't friends. They don't like each other. Reagan and O'Neill. Reagan liked Democrats. Democrats they may have disagreed with him, but they understood compromise was the essence of getting things done.
Is that why nothing gets done now?
That's correct. Nobody likes each other. Again, they're fomenting, they're playing to their bases. The right wing of the Republican Party, the left wing of the Democratic Party are almost, how shall I say this, rabid in their beliefs of hatred, and it's distressing to me.
So since Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, failed presidents.
All failed presidents. Reagan, a successful president. Then you had George H.W. Bush, who I thought was the Iraq War, the first Iraq War, prosecuted that successfully.
Big success.
Lost because of the economy, okay?
Right.
Jimmy Carter, Clinton, you have to say a failed president whenever a president's impeached.
But he balanced the budget.
Yes, he did. But whenever you're impeached, I think you're a failed president.
Okay. All right. Let's take a call real quick. Good morning. It's got to be a quick question here on Connect With Me. Caller? Hello, caller.
Sorry. Thank you for the show. I was going to ask about how I understand that we have a separation in the parties. I was going to ask you about the continuous push for gun control by the Obama administration.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's part of his agenda. I mean, Democrats would like to have fewer guns. They believe that gun violence is unacceptable in this country, and I think that's probably pretty hard to disagree with. We have a series of mass murders almost regularly in this country. You may disagree about the causes of that, but that's because he wants to have that happen. He gets to, set an agenda. Now, whether he gets it passed, he's not going to get it passed, but that's what he'd like to do.
Right. Okay. One last thing. We have like 30 seconds.
Okay.
George W. Bush. How do you rank him?
Not very highly at this point. Now, it's early still. He's only been out of office for a few years. But look, he left. And
Iraq and Afghanistan.
Iraq was a disaster in many ways, okay? Afghanistan. So I think most historians right now look at him in the bottom tier of presidents. We're not talking popularity. I'm not talking ideology. I'm talking in terms of effectiveness. Not very effective.
All right. Very lively, interesting conversation.
Enjoyed it.
Hey, a lot of calls.
But I think Ashley Swearingen probably got on that list from the Fulton Mall thing. Maybe she's on the list of top presidents. She's been there.
I didn't expect to get this many calls on a topic like this.
I think it's great.
A lot of interest. Lot of interest.
Well, Merry Christmas to the callers and to you.
Yeah, happy holidays out there.
I want to come back at the first of the year.
You are going to come back. Right. You are going to. You're always welcome here. And your son is going to be here in 2 weeks. Look forward to that. All right, Bradley Hart's going to be here. All right, that's going to do it for us today. We're going to be back tomorrow with another edition of Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. Have a great day and happy holidays.